Okay, everyone, I think we'll be beginning. So first of all, thank you very much for joining me on this webinar today. It will be a step-by-step registration guide to a smooth sailing through an error-free submission. My name is Maytal Weiss. I'm a Director of Business Development at the FreeMind Group, and I will be giving today's webinar. I would just like to remind you that this is coming to you live, so if you have any questions, please feel free to use that question bar at the bottom of your screen. I think we'll have some time for questions when we're done. So before we begin, just a very short overview on FreeMind. We've been around for 17 years now, since 1999. We have 55 full-time employees and a very diverse client base, both academics, university medical centers, and research institutes, and of course also the industry, everything from small startups to large pharmaceutical companies. And we submit around 400 applications annually on behalf of our clients. And today I would like to talk to you about the registration process, which is basically the first step to obtaining grants and contracts from any U.S. government agency. The most important thing to do is definitely to start the process early. It is a bit time consuming, and if you are registered to some of the systems that we'll be discussing now, first of all, you will gain flexibility in terms of the specific opportunities that you'll be able to approach. And in addition to that, you could avoid being caught off guard by unforeseen delays. For example, starting the registration process a week before the grant submission, and just making sure that you're not in a situation in which you've written a grant and you just can't submit it. That could be incredibly frustrating, so let's avoid that. So just a very short overview. Different institutes or mechanisms require different registrations. For example, the NIH, DOD, NSF. But the core registrations and the ones that I'll be addressing today are, first of all, SAM.gov, Grants.gov, and also ERA Commons. Most other registrations are unique portals for which you will need login accounts. These are usually a bit more straightforward, a bit more easy and less time consuming, and that is why I'll only address these three, but of course there are many more, and we'll touch upon that on the last slide here. So first of all, SAM.gov, or System for Award Management. This is the first online portal that we'll discuss. I think that any company trying to obtain government grants should definitely have a SAM account. You will need a DUNS number. You will also need an NCAGE if you are a foreign entity, and if you're not, if you're a domestic one, you'll need an EIN or a TIN number. Once you have a Grants.gov, an active SAM.gov account, you'll have, in addition to the active SAM, you'll have an eBiz point of contact, and you also have an MPIN. Both the eBiz POC and the MPIN are very important, so keep them in mind. We'll talk about them shortly. In addition to that, I'll discuss the ERA Commons, which is the NIH's portal for submissions. You will need a DUNS number to be able to have an ERA Commons account, and once you're done with everything there, you will create an SO account, or a signing official, and a PI account, a principal investigator. In addition to that, we'll also discuss Grants.gov. For that, you will need an active SAM account, and you'll be creating an AOR, and we'll talk about that shortly as well. So this is basically the overview of everything we'll talk about today. We'll go over everything here very slowly to make sure that everything is clear. So before we begin, a bit about the timelines. Both SAM and ERA Commons take a bit to basically be active. We're talking about 2 to 3 weeks from the initial initiation of the process. So definitely keep that in mind as you plan ahead when you're writing your grant. Once both stages are done, once you're done with the SAM account, you can have a Grants.gov account. That usually does not take very long. And once the ERA account is approved, you can open the PI or SL accounts in the ERA comments. So first off is SAM.gov, System for Award Management. Basically, again, we're talking about 2 to 3 weeks for processing time. And in order to have a SAM.gov account, you will need, even before you begin, you will need an up-to-date DUNS number. Creating a DUNS account usually takes around 4 to 5 days, so bear that in mind. Foreign applicants also need an NCAGE, which is a NATO commercial and governmental entity. Domestic applicants will need an EIN or a TIN number, which is basically an employee identification number or a taxpayer identification number. And the person doing this, and this is actually pretty important, bear in mind that the person who should be doing this is someone who will be available for follow-ups, familiar with the applicant's organization, incorporation information, and financials. But the most important thing here is just to take into account that although I hope that all of the process will be error-free and very simple, usually there is the need to contact the help desks. It is very comfortable. People there are very helpful, but the person doing this should be able to talk to them, to be available for answers and emails. So bear that in mind as you plan. So this is what the SAM.gov homepage looks like. The first thing you'll do is create an account, of course, and you'll need some personal information and the account information. And once you've had that, you can create an individual account. You, of course, agree to the terms. And then what usually happens is you have a username and a password for SAM. And the most important thing to remember, and actually I think this is the most important slide in this entire presentation, please bear in mind, you need an active SAM account, not just a username. What you've done until now, if you follow this guide, is have an account in SAM. It is in no way active. So what you will need to do is add a lot of information, and then you have to submit the request for them to basically process your request and hopefully approve the SAM account. What you've done so far is definitely not all you need to do in the SAM website portal. So please remember that. So the first thing that you'll have to do is, of course, register or update your entity. What we usually see with our clients is that they need to have a new registration, but if you have a CCR account from before they had SAM.gov, we'll go into how you can migrate your information from there as well. But if we're talking about a new entity, so you have to go to register or update entity, register new entity, and then you'll need a few pieces of information. You'll need your core data, assertions, and all kind of other information. Everything is specified here. And basically, you'll have to assign the roles. So actually, before we go into that, so the CCR migrating account, you go to My Roles, and then you go to Migrate Legacy System Account. If you click that, and here, this is the CCR system. You click that, and then you go here, you insert the email that was associated with your CCR account, and then it just migrates all of the data into the SAM system. So the next thing you'll have to do is check for the registration status. So you log into SAM, you go to register or update entity, incomplete registrations, entity list, click on your company's name, registration details, and then click view. What you would like to see is this window with the active status. And this is, of course, done once you've just inserted all the information into the SAM system, and then you click submit. Getting this usually takes around 2 to 3 weeks again, so keep that in mind. The normal process is usually the IRS certification from 4 to 10 business days, and this is again for U.S. companies only. The cage or N-cage validation, that's another 2 to 4 business days. And once you've had that, you can go on, but now let's talk about the ERA Commons account. This is only for NIH applications, but this is also time-consuming because it takes them a while to basically validate your account. So this is another thing you should probably do around 4 weeks before you begin, before the submission date. So again, 2 to 4 weeks for processing time. You will need an organization address, a DUNS number, and another thing to bear in mind is that everything has to sync. For example, if you have a specific address for the DUNS number, you need to have the same address for ERA Commons, and by the way for SAM as well, because that just causes problems, and we would definitely prefer avoiding those. You'll also need the contact information for the individuals who will be assigned roles. And the goal here, and actually the thing that you'll be creating, are 2 users. First of all, you'll have an SO account, which is the signing official, and then later on you'll have the PI account. But for now, we'll just be creating the SO account. And this is how you do it. Yeah, so that's what I said. Once it is approved, you can go in and create the PI account. So this is what the ERA Commons homepage looks like. You will need to register as a new organization. If you click that, you'll have the instructions. And they have actually just upgraded the way that they do things. Around, I think, 12 months ago, the NIH stepped into the 21st century, because until then, in order to be signed for the ERA Commons system, you needed to send them a fax. And that was actually a pretty major pitfall for a lot of the companies that we talked to, because no one believed that you actually needed to send the fax, and without the fax, without you sending it and them approving it, the account would not go through. So luckily that is no longer the case, very gladly even. But here you can see all the instructions, everything you really need to do to get the account through. So read that, of course, have it saved somewhere. And this is what it looks like when you start the registration process. First off, you'll need to enter some information about the company itself, DUNS number, address, email, and things like that. Once you're done with that, you move into this part of the screen. This is the signing official. Note that this person and the person's email need to be accessible to you, because a lot of the work that will be done from this part forward will be done using that email, so you definitely need access to it. On the right, you can see another set of questions. This part is not mandatory. You could fill it in, you don't have to, but you really need the SO account. And basically, once you've done that, you need to create your PI account. So you will receive an email notification when your SO account is approved, and then you can create a PI account. So in order to do that, you have to log in as your SO. This is the address, and follow the next steps. So first of all, you go into admin. You'll have this bar at the top of your screen when you log in. And then under accounts, you go to manage accounts. If you've done that, you'll be able to get to this screen. So typically, if we're talking about a new account, if you click search, you won't find any accounts, and that is perfectly okay. What you'll need to do once you've done that is just to create a new PI account. This is what it looks like. You insert the name, you insert the details, and then you do add and save. Make sure that you affiliate the PI with your organization. That is also very important. And then now is the Grants.gov section. So Basically, here you'll be creating an AOR account, or Authorized Organizational Representative account. And the way that you do this is after the SAM account has been active, you should usually wait around 24 to 48 hours just to make sure that all systems are synced. And then you go into the Grants.gov. This is what it looks like. You register. You see this lovely lady sitting there. You click Organization Applicant, and then you begin the process. And the next thing that you'll have to do once you've registered as an AOR, you'll need to approve the AOR status from the eBiz POC. So this is what you have to click. Usually when you'll see this page, you'll go to Applicants, but you'll have to move it to eBiz POC. And the eBiz POC, let me just remind you, is an entity that you've created once as you've created the active SAM account. So you take that, basically the eBiz POC contact, and you also enter the password. So the password is the MPIN. This is a code that you've selected when you've registered the SAM account, and you need it basically to approve the AOR. So once you have the SAM registration complete, you'll create an AOR account on Grants.gov. This account will be approved by organizational eBiz POC that you designed while creating the SAM.gov account, and your MPIN is your password. So you have to remember the MPIN, but if you do not remember it, so you can log into SAM.gov, and this is how you find it. You go to Register or Update Entity, Complete Registration, and under Entity List, you click your company's name, registration details, you click View, Entity Record, click Core Data, and then you have a lot of information. Then the first category is Business and TIN information. You will find the MPIN there. I definitely recommend writing it down though once you're done with SAM.gov, because a lot of this information will be needed for you, and you don't want to get lost with all of the information that they have there in SAM, because they'll ask you a lot of questions and you'll find a lot of information there. So that's that. So basically, in order to approve the AOR account, you have to log into Grants.gov as the eBiz POC using your MPIN. Again, you select Manage Applicants, click Search, click on the desired username, click Reassign Roles, and then you move the Authorized Applicant title from the remaining roles to the column of the current roles. I hope that's clear. And then, of course, very important, you have to save the changes. And that was all of it. I would just like to recap again. So we have the SAM.gov, which is the System for Award Management. You'll need to have the DUNS number, the NCAGE if you're foreign, and the EIN or TIN number if you are domestic. Once you're done with this, you'll have an active SAM account, you'll have an eBiz POC, and you'll have the MPIN. We also have ERA comments. This is for the NIH submissions. You will need an active SAM account, and you'll be creating an SO account and a PI account. Grants.gov, you will need an active SAM account, and you'll be creating an AOR, which is an Authorized Organizational Representative. And these are the three systems that I think are the most time-consuming that you have to bear in mind as you approach these types of funding. And other than that, there are a few systems that you also have to basically use to submit. I did not go into all of them, but just a couple that I think are important to understand, so to know. So first of all, we have, for the NIH, we have ASSIST, which is Application Submission System and Interface for Submission Tracking. In order to use ASSIST, you use your SO account and your PI account that you created in ERA Commons. when you're done with the application submission process, you sign the application as your authorized organizational representative, or the AOR, that you've created using Grants.gov. So that's for the NIH. Another online system or portal is the eBrap, which is more DoD related. So first of all, you can see the different mechanisms that use the eBrap. For example, we have the CDMRP, the Congressionally Directed Medical Research Programs, and SAMRAC, U.S. Army Medical Research and Material Command, and that is another system that you'll have to be registered to in order to submit DoD grants. It is relatively intuitive, not very time consuming, so don't be alarmed. And actually, one other system that I would like to mention here is the SBA for small businesses. If we're talking about SBIR, you should also have an SBA account. And just before we're done here, I would just like to take a minute to talk about potential pitfalls while doing this. So first of all, with SAM.gov, again, very, very important, you have to complete the registration. It is not enough to have a username. I know you got an email saying that you have an account. That is not enough. You need to have an active SAM account. You also have to make sure that you don't have conflicting information, for example, SAM or DUNS address. You have to make sure that all letters that you use are not special characters, so no letters in Spanish usually, because that could cause problems. You have to remember that you have to renew your SAM registration. That takes a very, very, it's very easy. It doesn't take a lot of time, but you have to make sure that your SAM is active. And you have to remember who your eBiz POC is, and make sure that you're not just writing the name of someone in the company that you won't have access to their email. Okay, so now ERA comments. You have to remember that even though you're done with the first step of the registration, you'll be receiving an email approving your ERA Commons account within 2 to 3 weeks from the first day of starting this process. You have to remember to affiliate your PI with your organization, otherwise submitting the application will be difficult. And of course, you have to make sure that you are, so if you want to update your details in ERA Commons, usually it just, you go into a screen that has a lot of information, and you cannot save and update without filling in a lot of the information, and that takes a little bit of time. So make sure that all the details are correct from the beginning, unless you want to spend about half an hour just answering a lot of questions that you were not required to fill in at the first stages. And with Grants.gov, you have to remember to approve your AOR before you're done. And that's it for now. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. These are the ways to do that. You can also look us up on our website. We also have a LinkedIn account. We have a YouTube channel with all the webinars that we do from time to time. They are all very fascinating. And of course, our Twitter account. And now let me see what questions you've asked. Just a minute. Okay, so first question, yeah, I would definitely send you the slide deck once we're done here. Okay, one other question is regarding foreign applicants and TIN or EIN. So those numbers are only relevant for domestic organizations. Foreign organizations do not require that. And the cage number is another thing that you do not have to have as you approach the process. It is given to you as you create the SAM account. By the way, for non-US entities, If you need your NCAGE number, just type NCAGE and the name of your country, and you'll be able to find very easily how to do it in your country. And okay, so I think that's all for now. Thank you very much for joining me. And we'll definitely see you in the next webinars. Have a great day.